Vibha, and today we're going to do from Treasure Trove, My Greatest Olympic Prize by Jesse Owens. So before you start any chapter or poem, you should always go through this box that is given before each chapter and poem in the book. So it provides details about the author and a short summary about the story or the poem. So we are going to cover these 5 points today, starting with point number 1, that is about the author. Jesse Owens, the son of a sharecropper. So a sharecropper is a tenant farmer who gives a part of his crop as rent. So he was the son of a sharecropper and grandson of a slave, achieved what no Olympian before him had accomplished, his stunning achievement of 4 gold medals at the 1936 Olympic Games in Berlin has made him the best remembered athlete in Olympic history. So this story, My Greatest Olympic Prize, is an autobiography. And now what is an autobiography? An autobiography is a written account of a person's life written by that person himself or herself. And a biography on the other hand is a written account of a person's life written by someone else. So now we're going to do the second point, that is the story in detail. My Greatest Olympic Prize by Jesse Owens. It was the summer of 1936. The Olympic Games were being held in Berlin because Hitler childishly insisted that his performers were members of a master race. Nationalistic feelings were at an all-time high. So Hitler used to discriminate between people on racial grounds or on many other grounds. He thought that all the Nazis and the Germans were a master race, they were the Aryan race, and others were inferior. I wasn't too worried about all this. I had trained, sweated and disciplined myself for 6 years with the games in mind. So Jesse Owens was not much worried. He had prepared himself thoroughly and he had great confidence in his abilities. So games here is written in capital G. So these are the Olympic Games. While I was going over on the boat, all I could think about was taking home 1 or 2 of those gold medals. I had my eye especially on the running broad jump. A year before as a sophomore. So he's a sophomore. A sophomore is a student studying in the 2nd year of high school. So he was a sophomore at Ohio State University. I had set the world's record of 26 feet 8 by 4 inches. He has already set a world record. Everyone kind of expected me to win that Olympic event, hands down. Everyone thought that Jesse Owens is going to win because he has already set such a huge record. I was in for a surprise. When the time came for the broad jump trials, I was startled to see a tall boy hitting the pit at almost 26 feet on his practice leaves. So this tall boy was no less. He had also jumped as far as 26 feet. He turned out to be a German named Luz Long. I was told that Hitler had kept him under wraps. Under wraps means Hitler had kept him hidden, evidently hoping to win the jump with him. I guess that if Long won, it would add some new support to the Nazis' Aryan superiority theory. So Nazis or Aryan superiority theory or the Nordic theory is that Nazis aim to unite Germans living in historically German territory, excluding community aliens or belonging to inferior race. So they aimed at uniting the Germans while excluding everyone else. After all, I am a Negro. A little hot under the collar about Hitler's ways. So he was an angry athlete on Hitler's ways. I determined to go out there and really show Der Führer. So Der Führer is a title given to Hitler and Führer means leader. And his master race, who was superior and who wasn't. An angry athlete is an athlete who will make mistakes, as any coach will tell you. I was no exception. So he was angry, hot under the collars on Hitler's ways. So he was bound to make mistakes, as a coach would tell you. On the first of my 3 qualifying jumps, I leaped from several inches beyond the takeoff board for a foul. On the second jump, I fouled even worse. Did I come 3,000 miles for this? He failed terribly in the first 2 trials. I thought bitterly, he thought angrily, unhappily. To foul out of the trials and make a fool of myself. Not even qualifying in the trials, how would I perform in the main event where I can't even qualify in the first two trials. Walking a few yards from the pit, I kicked disgustedly at the dirt. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned to look into the friendly blue eyes of the tall German broad jumper. He had easily qualified for the finals on his first attempt. He offered me a firm handshake. Jesse Owens, I'm Luz Long. I don't think we have met. He spoke English well, though with a German twist to it. Glad to meet you, I said. Then, trying to hide my nervousness, I added, How are you? He was nervous because he was talking to someone who had been trained on Nazi ideology. I am fine. The question is, how are you? What do you mean? I asked. Something must be eating you. Eating you means something must be bothering you, he said, proud the way foreigners are when they have mastered a bit of American slang. You should be able to qualify with your eyes closed. So Luz Long, even though being a German, he said, you should have qualified really easily. You have set a world record. Even he was confused that why is Jesse Owens behaving and making such not so expected attempts. Believe me, I know it, I told him, and it felt good to say that to someone. For the next few minutes we talked together. I did not tell Long what was eating me, but he seemed to understand my anger and he took pains to reassure me. Although he had been schooled in the Nazi youth movement, he did not believe in the Aryan supremacy business any more than I did. He believed, just like a Negro, even though after being a Nazi, he believed what a Negro did, that is Jesse Owens, that everyone is equal. We laughed over the fact that he really looked the part though. An inch taller than I, he had a lean, muscular frame, clear blue eyes, blonde hair, and a strikingly handsome chiseled face. So chiseled face is an attractive and well-formed shape. Finally, seeing that I had calmed down somewhat, he pointed to the takeoff board. Look, he said, why don't you draw a line a few inches in back of the board and aim at making your takeoff from there? You'll be sure not to foul. And you're certainly out to jump far enough to qualify. What does it matter if you're not first in the trials? Tomorrow is what counts. Suddenly all the tension seemed to ebb. Ebb means to recede out of my body as the truth of what he said hit me, that tomorrow is what actually counts. Confidently I drew a line, a full foot in back of the board, and proceeded to jump from there. I qualified with almost a foot to spare. That night I walked over to Luz Long's room in the Olympic Village to thank him. I knew that if it had not been for him, I probably wouldn't be jumping in the finals the following day. We sat in his quarters. So quarters are living accommodations, and talked for 2 hours about track and field, ourselves, the world situation, a dozen other things. When I finally got up to leave, we both knew that a real friendship had been formed. Luz would go out to the field the next day trying to beat me if he could, but I knew that he wanted me to do my best, even if that meant my winning. As it turned out, Luz broke his own past record. In doing so, he pushed me onto a peak performance, peak means of the highest level. I remember that at the instant I landed from my final jump, the one which set the Olympic record at 26 feet, 5 by 16 inches. He was at my side congratulating me, despite the fact that Hitler glared at us. So glared means directly look angrily. So Hitler glared at us from the stands not 100 yards. Luz shook my hand hard, and it wasn't a fake smile with a broken heart sort of grip either. You can melt down all the gold medals and cups I have, and there couldn't be a plating on the 24 karat. So 24 karat is pure gold, free from malice or metals. 24 karat friendship, similarly as 24 karat gold, that is pure gold, is free from any impurities of other metals. 24 karat friendship is also free from the malice of hatred, anger and mistrust. I felt for Luz Long at that moment. I realized then too that Luz was the epitome, that is a perfect example of what Pierre de Coubertin, founder of the modern Olympic Games, must have had in mind when he said, the important thing in the Olympic Games is not winning but taking part. The essential thing is in life is not conquering but fighting well. So that ends the story, a really lovely story about a friendship between people belonging to different races at the time when there was so much racial discrimination. Good story? So now let us move to point 3, that is the title. My Greatest Olympic Prize is an appropriate title for Owens' autobiographical account. At the first look, it appears that the title might refer to Jesse Owens' historic achievement of winning 4 gold medals at the Olympic Games held in Berlin, capital of Germany, in 1936. But after reading the story, the truth comes out that Jesse Owens is referring to his friendship with the German athlete Luz Long as the greatest prize. So even though Jesse Owens fouled on his first 2 attempts and was completely dejected at the thought of not being able to qualify for the final round, if he would give a similar performance in the 3rd round, but at this crucial moment leaving behind his own goal and fear of the German dictator Hitler under whom he was trained, Luz Long came forward and advised Jesse Owens. At that moment, Jesse Owens felt that all the gold medals he had won when he had actually won it would not be able to equal the friendship that he felt for Luz Long. Luz Long went out of the way to help Jesse Owens and set an example of true friendship amidst all the social hatred and discrimination which Jesse Owens cherished throughout his life. This justifies the title of the story. The greatest Olympic prize is not the gold medals, the material things, it's a true friendship. Moving on to the 4th point, that is the character sketch. So 2 main characters are Jesse Owens and Luz Long. So Jesse Owens was an American track and field athlete and 4-time Olympic gold medalist in the 1936 Games. So from his autobiographical prose, he seems to be a calm and relaxed athlete in the beginning who was not worried about the Olympic Games as he believed in his ability to take home 1 or 2 gold medals. But feelings of hatred and anger soon overcome him on seeing Luz Long, a tall German athlete. So it shows Owens' short-tempered nature. The angry athlete, though angry because of the racial prejudices meted out to his community, was not unreasonable. When Luz Long, his opponent, offered friendly advice to him, he was both receptive and respectful. He understood that tomorrow is what counts. Owens was a warm-hearted man who soon developed real friendship with Luz Long. Owens was a man of emotions who weighed his friendship with Luz Long much more than all the gold medals he had won. Like, you can then write about the last 4 to 5 lines which is given about Pierre de Coubertin and about the 24-carat friendship. Luz Long. Luz Long, the German athlete, is the epitome of a true sportsperson. He offered Owens a friendly advice. Out of so much hatred, he was there. He offered him a firm handshake, calmed him down, and advised him to draw a line a few inches in back of the boat and aim at making his takeoff from there. He gave Owens a lifelong lesson that tomorrow is what counts. Though Long was initially looked at by Owens as a proponent of Hitler's master race, it was not so. Long respected Owens and considered him as his equal. Owens remarked for Long, although he had been schooled in the Nazi youth movement, he did not believe in the Aryan supremacy business. When Owens went to Long's room on the night of trials to thank him, he welcomed him and attended him for 2 hours. What was important for Luz was fair play and the love of games. Moreover, the next day when Owens won the gold, Long was the first to congratulate him. He did not consider himself superior to Owens in any way, and despite Hitler's glare, he heartily complimented him. So he shows true sportsmanship. So now moving on to the final point, that is point number 5, themes. So there are 2 major themes in the story, that is true spirit of sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is an aspiration or ethos that the sport or activity will be enjoyed for its own sake, with proper consideration for fairness, ethics, respect, and a sense of fellowship with one's competitor. So sportsmanship is shown by Luz Long and in some way Jesse Owens by being receptive and respectful to Long's advice. Luz Long had easily qualified for the finals in his first attempt, but he was not arrogant. He was friendly, humble, and motivating towards Owens. Long could see beyond Owens' anger. He could also see Owens' potential. So he tried to calm down Owens. As a true sportsman, devoid of any racial spite, Long cooperated even in the finals. As soon as Owens won, Long congratulated him heartily. He was not disappointed for himself, but happy for Owens. So Luz Long had won the silver, and Jesse Owens had won the gold medal. He was the first person to congratulate Jesse Owens, even though Hitler glared at him. Despite the fact that Hitler glared at them, Luz did not hesitate and shook his hand hard. Luz thus became the epitome or pair their competence belief that the important thing in the Olympic Games is not winning but taking part. The essential thing is in life is not conquering but fighting well. The second major theme is showcasing true friendship. Jesse Owens' short autobiographical account showcases a true and honest friendship formed between him and German athlete Luz Long. When Luz Long saw Owens making fouls, he acted as a true guide and friend, even though he belonged to the Nazi array, even though he was trained under Hitler. And Jesse Owens was a Negro. He gave him great advice. He did not act as a rival but helped him qualify for the finals in the 1936 Olympics. Like true friends, both of them met the same night in Luz Long's room. They talked for 2 hours about track and field, themselves, the world situation and a dozen other things. It is then they realized that a real friendship had been formed between them. In the finals, Jesse Owens won gold medals, but the friendship he formed with Luz Long was his greatest Olympic prize. And this friendship lasted till Luz Long's death, when he was killed in the Second World War. So that ends our lesson for today. And now if you want question and answers on this chapter, do mention them in the comment section below and I would definitely try to make it happen. And now if you found this video to be helpful, then do like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. All the best. Bye.